C14 data was invented in the late 1940s and initially assumed atmospheric C14 was constant, a flat, steady ratio across all of history. When they tested this method against objects with known dates from the Egyptian chronology, the numbers didn't match. The dates were off. At that point, there were two possible conclusions. Either the Egyptian chronology was wrong, or the atomic C14 decay was wrong. The scientific community chose door number two. They kept the Egyptian timeline and declared that they must devise a system to twist atomic clock decay into not being consistent. Think about that. And they call us conspiracy theorists. Instead of trusting an atomic decay that runs like a clock that had found problems with the Egyptian dates, they invented a multi-billion-dollar industry to bend atomic decay data to the existing narrative. We're going to undo that in this video with a framework called atomic clock chronology. That, by the way, we're inventing right here as you see it. Carbon-14 dating is an atomic clock. This framework treats it as one. Where the atomic clock and the conventional calendar disagree, let's assume the clock is right. It rests on three principles. First, hard science is real. Atomic decay is measurable and trustworthy. Two, the things people write down don't supersede an atomic clock. If the clock says it's lunchtime and I write breakfast on a piece of paper, the clock is correct. It's still lunchtime. Three, where historians don't like the atomic clock dates, it's not the clock's problem. When you apply these principles, then we should trust science and accept decay rates hundreds of years of conventional calendars compress. The timeline shrinks, and when it does, something remarkable happens. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So here's the current Calc 20 curve. It wiggles all over the place because they've assumed the x-axis, the calendar, is a fixed duration. And then they map the radiocarbon data and they force it back onto that curve using organic and historical markers to decide what goes up and what goes down. It's been thought that there are added years to the timeline. Many people have gone after this. Let me show you how to actually do it. The first thing we have to do is to calculate what's called the forward minimum. This is the running minimum of the Calc 20 curve computed by walking forward through calendar time from 1 AD to 1650 AD. It's called monotononical, which just means it is a non-increasing function. It can only go down, it can only decrease or remain constant, never increase. Whenever the Calc 20 curve wiggles and loses its mind, the forward minimum holds. It holds flat. Then we calculate the backward minimum. This is running the maximum of the Calc 20 curve computed by walking backwards from 1650 AD to 1 AD. It has the same characteristics. It's non-decreasing function going leftward. It can only increase or remain constant as you move backward in time. This leaves you with the monotonic envelopes. These reversal zones hold as long as the maximum and minimum do not collapse into each other. They provide specific data. They tell us how many atomic clock ticks, how many atomic clock years there are per the chronological span, per the calendar span. How many atomic clock years to how many calendar years. Then you backward cast this atomic clock years from 1650 to build the effective resolution. This shows you the gap between atomic years and calendar years in total. The total gap is 565 years. And as you can see, you can calculate the individual periods. Then you spin that full budget forward from the starting point, 1 AD, and you learn that in atomic carbon time, in atomic clock time, and decay rate time, 1650 is actually 1085. And the data leaves fingerprints we can see what calendar years are conflated. For example, 1046 to 1155 span 109 calendar years, but only include 47 radiocarbon years. 1499 to 1634 span 135 calendar years, but only 68 radiocarbon years. 755 to 883 span 108 calendar years, but only 65 radiocarbon years, and so on. Now, I don't think this means we have made up history. I think this means our history has taken place in a shorter time span than they tell us. There's still room for all the events, there just aren't those long stretches when nothing much happens, like they say. For example, we're told the temple fell in 70 AD. John writes Revelation in 85 AD. I have to notice that it's exactly 1,000 years, just like the radiocarbon dates say it should be. I have to notice that North America during this time is said to be empty and peaceful. And we have pictures of majestic cities and maps of a kingdom on that continent. I'm just saying.